And what if I told you that right there in your kitchen there's a poison you probably consumed this morning without realizing it, something that drop by drop, day after day, is silently shutting down two of your body's hardest working organs. And the worst part is that you think it's completely harmless. Today we're going to talk about your kidneys, those two fist-sized organs that work tirelessly 24 hours a day, filtering your blood and keeping your body clean. Most people believe kidneys are tough, that they only get damaged by serious diseases or very strong medications. They think that as long as they don't feel pain, everything's fine. But the truth is exactly the opposite. Kidneys are champions of silence. They can be failing for years without giving you any warning signs, no pain, no clear symptoms, and until the damage is already very serious, sometimes irreversible. Today I'm going to reveal 5 everyday poisons that are sabotaging your kidneys without you realizing it. Things you probably consume or do every day believing they're normal or even healthy. And most importantly, I'm going to show you how to protect yourself from each of them before it's too late. And stay until the end, because the 5th poison is the most dangerous of all, the one I consider the #1 silent killer of kidneys, and it's going to completely surprise you when you discover what it is. Before we begin, it's important that you understand why, as the years go by, we become more vulnerable to these poisons. Age simply changes the rules of the game. Just as we lose vision or get gray hair, kidneys also age. Their filtering capacity, what we call glomerular filtration rate, gradually decreases with each decade of life. Think of it like a car engine with many miles on it. It still works, of course, but it no longer has the same strength as when it was new. Now, imagine that instead of giving that veteran engine good oil and taking care of it, we pour low-quality fuel into it and force it to climb steep hills every day. What do you think will happen? Exactly. It's going to break much sooner than necessary. Well, that's exactly what many of us unknowingly do to our kidneys for 50, 60, or 70 years. We've exposed them to things that in our youth perhaps didn't seem to cause harm, but that leave a small scar, and those scars accumulate. It's that cumulative effect that can end in complete kidney failure. Let's start with the first poison. And it may surprise you because it's not something you eat or drink, it's something you don't do. I'm talking about sedentarism, lack of movement, spending hours and hours sitting, whether watching television, in front of a screen, or simply because it's becoming increasingly difficult for you to move with the same ease as before. You might wonder what sitting has to do with your kidneys, and the answer is everything. Your kidneys absolutely depend on a powerful and healthy blood flow to do their filtering job. Let me explain it with an image you won't forget. Imagine a rushing river where water flows forcefully, carries away everything useless, and stays crystal clear and clean. Now think of a puddle of stagnant water without movement. In that puddle, mud accumulates. Everything rots. The water becomes toxic and smells bad. Your circulatory system is that river. When you move, when you walk, when you climb stairs, or simply stand up, your heart pumps more forcefully and blood circulates vigorously throughout your body, reaching with power the millions of microscopic filters inside your kidneys. This vigorous blood flow gives them the power to clean your body optimally, eliminating all the toxins and wastes that accumulate. But when you spend hours and hours sitting, everything slows down. Blood flow becomes lazy, weak, like the water in that stagnant puddle. And this opens the perfect entry door for the 3 worst enemies of the kidney: obesity, hypertension, and type 2 diabetes. When you don't move, your body doesn't use blood sugar well, which leads to insulin resistance and eventually diabetes. Inactivity also makes you gain weight, which forces your heart to work harder and raises blood pressure dangerously. And every extra kilo you carry is a brutal extra burden for your kidneys. In my clinical experience, I've seen how sedentarism is one of the main factors that accelerates kidney deterioration in older adults. It's not dramatic, it doesn't hurt, but it's relentless. So what do? Don't panic. You don't have to become an Olympic athlete tomorrow morning. The solution is much simpler and within everyone's reach. It's about breaking up those long periods of sitting. If you spend a lot of time on the couch or in a chair, the first step is simply to get up. Set an alarm on your phone every hour to remind you it's time to stand up. Get up. Walk around the house even if it's just a few steps. Go for a glass of water, stretch your arms toward the ceiling, move your legs. That simple act of getting up already reactivates circulation, as if you were opening the floodgates of a river. The next step is to incorporate a daily walk. It doesn't have to be a marathon or anything like that. Start with 10 minutes around the block at a pace that feels comfortable to you. Next week, try to do 15 minutes. The absolute key here is consistency, not intensity. Walking is one of the best exercises that exist for kidney health. It's good for the heart, it controls blood sugar, strengthens bones, and of course, sends that flow of clean, healthy blood directly to your kidneys. If you have mobility problems or find it difficult to walk, there are fantastic exercises you can do sitting in a chair, moving your arms in circles, lifting your legs, rotating your ankles. It all adds up. The motto I want you to remember is this: any movement is better than no movement. Remember the river analogy. Every step you take, every time you get up, is like sending a wave of clean, fresh water to your kidneys. So you can keep playing with your grandchildren, so you can dance at family celebrations to keep living with energy. But if you thought lack of movement was concerning, wait until you discover the second poison. This one is even more dangerous because most people consume it thinking it's helping them, not harming them. In fact, it's the number one poison I constantly see, and it's destroying millions of kidneys worldwide without anyone noticing until it's too late. And we arrive at what I consider poison number one, the undisputed champion of silent kidney destruction, the most addictive, the most present in our daily diet, and the one that causes the most devastating long-term damage. This poison isn't some rare laboratory chemical, it's something we associate with celebrations, rewards, love, happy moments. I'm talking about sugar and its inseparable accomplice, refined flour. Yes, you heard right. That sweet white powder that's in desserts, soft drinks, that sweet bread from the bakery, but also in everyday white bread, pasta, cookies, breakfast cereals. In my experience, this deadly duo is primarily responsible for diabetes being the number one cause of kidney failure in the entire world. It's the direct path that unfortunately I see repeated again and again until patients end up needing dialysis to survive. Why am I so blunt about this? Because sugar and refined flours that your body converts to sugar almost instantly don't launch a single attack against your kidneys. They launch a massive and perfectly coordinated attack from 4 different fronts simultaneously. It's as if 4 enemy armies attacked your body from the north, south, east, and west at the same time. Let me explain each of these attack fronts so you understand the magnitude of the problem. Attack front number 1, the direct highway to diabetes. The number one cause of kidney failure on the entire planet is diabetes, and excessive consumption of sugars and refined flours is the main culprit of type 2 diabetes. Every time you eat these foods, they cause a tsunami of glucose that floods your blood at once. Your pancreas goes crazy trying to release enough insulin to control that avalanche of sugar. If this happens every day, several times a day for years, your cells start to turn a deaf ear to insulin. They no longer respond. And that's how type 2 diabetes is born. Once blood sugar is chronically elevated, the damage to the kidneys is brutal and ruthless. Sugar damages kidney filters, hardens them, and destroys them little by little, turning them into useless tissue full of scars. It's what we call diabetic nephropathy, and it's the fastest and surest route to dialysis. Attack front number 2, arterial hypertension. For a long time, we believed that only salt was to blame for high blood pressure, but today, we know that sugar is equally dangerous, if not worse, for raising blood pressure. A high-sugar diet shoots up your pressure, and even if you perfectly control salt, sugar will continue to mercilessly hit your kidneys day after day, weakening those delicate walls of kidney blood vessels. Attack front number 3, silent inflammation. Sugars literally fire for your body. It causes chronic low-grade inflammation that doesn't hurt, that you can't see. But that's there constantly damaging the inside of all your arteries, including the tiny arteries that feed your kidneys. This inflammation makes everything work worse. Blood circulates with more difficulty. Filters clog faster, and attack front number 4, obesity and fatty liver. Excess sugar that you don't burn because you're sitting automatically converts to fat. This fat accumulates throughout your body, causing obesity, which is another gigantic risk factor for the kidney. But in addition, that fat deposits in your liver, causing what we call fatty liver, a condition that completely alters your metabolism and indirectly harms the kidneys in ways we're only beginning to fully understand. As you can see, it's a total attack from all possible angles. That's why I call it, without hesitation, poison number one. But here comes the good news, and I want this to fill you with hope. We can defeat this enemy. The key is in knowledge and action. First, you have to understand that sugar has many names and hides everywhere. High fructose corn syrup, dextrose, sucrose, maltose. They're all different disguises for the same sweet poison. Learn to recognize them on labels. Second, eliminate the most obvious and dangerous sources. Sugary drinks, soft drinks, industrial juices, those bottled iced teas, those sodas at family gatherings are liquid sugar that goes straight to your blood without any breaks. A single can of soda can contain more than 10 teaspoons of sugar, 10 teaspoons that your body has to process all at once. Replace them with plain water, sparkling water with a bit of fresh lemon, or herbal infusions. This change alone can be the most powerful one you make in your entire life. Third, be wary of products that claim to be low fat. They often remove the fat to make it sound healthy, but then fill them to the brim with sugar so they taste like something. Always read the label. Choose natural versions of everything. For example, plain unsweetened yogurt instead of those fruit yogurts that are loaded with sugar. And if you want, add fresh fruit yourself. Fourth, switch white flours for real whole grains. Authentic whole grain bread, not that brown sliced bread that only has coloring, brown rice, oatmeal flakes. The fiber these whole foods contain slows sugar absorption and protects your kidneys. And finally, embrace real food, actual food. Fresh fruits, vegetables of all colors, legumes like lentils and chickpeas, unprocessed meat, fish, eggs, nuts. When your diet is based on whole foods, on food that your grandmother would recognize as food, added sugar and refined flours disappear almost magically from your life. Breaking the chains of sugar is the most powerful act of defense you can do for your kidneys and for your entire life. Let me ask you something important to better know our community. From what city or country are you watching us? Write your location in the comments because I love knowing where the people who care about their kidney health come from, and this helps me enormously to create more relevant content for your specific region. Now that you know enemy number one, I want to warn you about the third poison. This one is especially treacherous because you find it in the medicine cabinet of almost every home, and millions of people take it without thinking twice to relieve common everyday pains. We arrive at the third poison, and this one hides in plain sight, probably in your medicine cabinet right now. It's that pill you take without thinking too much for a headache that won't go away, for that back pain that bothers you, or for the arthritis that's been with you for years. I'm talking about non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs, the famous ones we all know by names like ibuprofen, naproxen, or diclofenac. These medications sound familiar to all of us because they're everywhere. Millions of people use them firmly believing that since they're sold over the counter, they're completely safe and harmless. And that's precisely the big deception. Although they're very good, even excellent, for quickly relieving pain, their chronic, frequent use or in high doses can be devastating, even lethal for the kidneys, especially in older adults whose kidneys are already working at the limit of their capacity. Let me explain how this works simply so you understand it perfectly. For your kidneys to receive that good flow of blood they need to filter and clean, there are natural substances in your body called prostaglandins that keep the small kidney arteries wide open, relaxed, allowing blood to flow freely. The problem, and here comes the deception, is that non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs work precisely by blocking those prostaglandins to remove pain and inflammation in the rest of the body. But these medications don't distinguish. They have no brain. They also block the prostaglandins that are protecting your kidneys. The direct result is that the kidney arteries contract, close as if someone were squeezing them hard, and the flow of blood and oxygen reaching them is drastically reduced. It's as if you were stepping on the hose you're using to water a plant. The water doesn't reach it, and the plant begins to dry out, to die little by little. The same thing happens to your kidneys. But the real danger, the most insidious, is the silent damage that accumulates over time. Taking these pills every day for chronic pain, as so many people do with arthritis, is like stepping on and releasing that hose again and again, day after day for months or years. Over time, the delicate kidney filters are irreparably damaged. They scar, they become hard, and they stop working. It's a slow process, so slow that it doesn't give clear symptoms until it's too late. Until you've lost more than half of your kidney function. So what do we do with this information? Do we have to endure the pain and suffer in silence? Of course not. Quality of life always comes first. The intelligent solution is to use your head and, above all, talk openly with a healthcare professional. First and most important than anything else, never self-medicate with these anti-inflammatories chronically. Never. If a pain lasts more than a few days, the solution is not to keep taking pills as if they were candy. The solution is to go to the doctor to investigate what's really happening. It's not about silencing the fire alarm. It's about finding where the fire is and putting it out at the root. Second, tell your doctor. Tell them absolutely everything you take, including vitamins, herbal remedies, and all those pills you buy over the counter. Many medications for colds, for sleep, or for allergies contain hidden anti-inflammatories among their ingredients, and you don't even know it. Third, there are safer alternatives for occasional pain. Paracetamol, also known as acetaminophen, is usually much safer for the kidneys when used in the correct doses and without exceeding them. And explore non-pill options. Physical therapy can work wonders, hot or cold compresses, gentle stretching. All of this can greatly reduce your dependence on chemical painkillers. The golden rule I want you to engrave in your mind is this. Non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs are powerful and useful medications. Using them occasionally when you really need them is perfectly fine, but depending on them every day without proper medical supervision is playing Russian roulette with your kidneys. And in that roulette, the odds aren't in your favor. If the pills you thought were harmless have surprised you, get ready for the fourth poison. This one is literally in every kitchen in the world, hidden in places you would never imagine, and it's sabotaging your health without you even noticing. The fourth poison is perhaps the most underestimated of all, the one people think they have under control when they really don't at all. It's in every kitchen, in every supermarket, in every restaurant on the planet. I'm talking about salt, or, to be more scientifically exact, sodium. Many people tell me with complete confidence, but I hardly use the salt shaker. I barely add salt to my food. And that's precisely the big misunderstanding that's costing the health of millions of people. The real problem isn't the salt you add with your hand when you cook or when you sit down to eat. The real problem is the absolutely brutal amount of sodium that comes hidden, invisible in the processed and prepared foods you buy. Research confirms it. More than 75% of the sodium we eat comes from there, from packages and cans, not from the salt shaker you have on your table. It's in everyday bread, even though it doesn't taste salty. It's in cold cuts, in those hams and sausages we like so much. It's in cheeses and canned soups that seem so practical, in bottled sauces, in frozen meals, in prepared pizzas, in almost everything that comes in a pretty package with a label. The food industry uses massive amounts of salt because it makes products last longer on shelves and because it makes them taste better, makes them more addictive. It's an invisible aggressor that enters your body without you noticing. And why is this so tremendously bad for your kidneys? Your body needs a little bit of sodium to function properly. That's true, but only a little bit. When you flood it with excessive amounts day after day, the delicate balance breaks completely. To try to dilute all that sodium so it doesn't poison you, your body has no choice but to retain fluids. It makes you thirstier, you drink more, and it orders your kidneys not to release a single drop of water to retain it all. The inevitable result is that the total volume of blood circulating through your arteries increases dangerously and the pressure inside those arteries shoots up. That is neither more nor less arterial hypertension. And here comes the critical part. Hypertension is the second most common cause of kidney failure in the world, only behind diabetes. The microscopic filters in your kidneys are made of a very fine network of super delicate blood vessels, more delicate than silk. Imagine trying to clean a fragile silk fabric using a firefighter's hose at full pressure with water coming out with tremendous force. You would destroy that fabric in seconds, tear it to pieces. Well, that's exactly what hypertension caused by excess salt does to your kidneys every day, every hour. It damages them, scars them, destroys them little by little in a vicious circle that's very difficult to escape from. The solution to protect yourself from this invisible poison requires you to completely change your mental chip. It's not about eating bland and boring food for the rest of your life. It's about eating intelligently, knowing what enters your body. The most powerful tool you have in your hands is learning to read food labels as if you were a detective. Turn over any package you buy and look for the word sodium or salt in the ingredient list and in the nutrition table. You're going to be completely shocked when you see the absurd amount of sodium that foods have that don't even taste salty, like some breakfast cereals, sweet cookies, or sliced bread. The official recommendation is clear. You should not exceed 2,000 to 2,300 milligallons of sodium per day. And if you already have diagnosed high blood pressure, your goal should be even stricter, 1,500 milligallon maximum. It seems like a lot, but believe me, it's reached incredibly quickly when you eat processed foods. The second fundamental strategy is to cook more at home, where you have absolute control over what goes into your food. There you decide, not a factory that only wants you to buy more. Third, and this is wonderful, rediscover the world of natural flavors. Nature has gifted us an impressive arsenal of herbs and spices that can completely transform any dish without needing a pinch of salt. Fresh garlic, onion, black pepper, oregano, rosemary, turmeric, cumin, paprika. Squeezed lemon and vinegar are also great for giving that bright touch of flavor without adding even 1 milligallon of sodium. Grandma's food was always delicious and didn't need extra salt, just love and natural spices. And one last practical trick, if you buy canned vegetables because they're more convenient or cheaper, rinse them very well under running water before using them. With that simple 30-second gesture, you eliminate a large part of the added sodium they contain. Within a few weeks of reducing salt, something almost magical is going to happen. Your taste buds are going to completely reset, and you'll start to notice the real and authentic flavors of food. Those flavors that excess salt had been hiding for years. It's a true liberation of the palate. I want to know something about you to create better content that really serves you. Which of these poisons has surprised you the most so far? Write number 1 if it was sugar, number 2 if it was the pain pills, or number 3 if it was the salt hidden in processed foods. Your response in the comments helps me enormously to understand what topics are most important and urgent for our community. And now, I want to talk to you about the 5th and last poison, one that will probably impact you deeply because it goes completely against what you've always been told about healthy eating and strength in adulthood. And we arrive at the 5th poison. And this one may surprise you more than all the previous ones combined because it goes directly against what you've probably been told your whole life since you were little. I'm talking about excess animal protein in your diet, especially red meat, and even worse, processed meats like cold cuts, ham, sausages, and chorizo. For decades, entire generations have grown up with the firmly planted idea that eating a lot of meat is an automatic synonym for strength, health, vitality. We were told that muscles need protein, and therefore the more meat you eat, the better. But the scientific truth is much more complex and nuanced, especially when we're talking about your kidneys after turning 50, 60, or 70 years old. Your kidneys are in charge of cleaning all the waste your body constantly produces. When you eat protein, especially animal protein, your body breaks it down and generates waste products like urea and creatinine that must be eliminated. And who does that dirty work? Your kidneys, of course. Now imagine that for 50, 60, or 70 years, you've been eating excess animal protein, much more than your body really needs. Your kidneys have had to work very hard without rest, processing and eliminating mountains of waste day after day, meal after meal, year after year. It's like having someone working overtime every day for decades without ever giving them a break. Medical research is clear on this. Consuming excess animal protein, more than 1.2 grams per kilogram of body weight per day, brutally overloads the kidney filters. And when those filters are already weakened by age, as naturally happens in all of us, that constant overload can dramatically accelerate the deterioration of kidney function. But here comes what very few people know. Processed meats are even worse. They're a double or even triple blow to your kidneys. First, they have that excess protein we talked about. Second, they're absolutely loaded with salt, with sodium to preserve them and give them flavor. And third, they contain chemical preservatives and additives that your kidneys also have to filter and eliminate. It's a perfect storm of kidney aggression. The effect is cumulative, like everything we've talked about today. It's not that you eat a cold cut and your kidney breaks the next day. It's that for 50, 60, 70 years of eating like this, the kidneys accumulate damage. They slowly burn out until one day they simply can't take it anymore. And here's something fascinating that science is discovering. Not all protein is equal for your kidneys. Plant protein, the kind that comes from legumes like lentils, chickpeas, beans, nuts, and seeds, is much less harmful to the kidneys than animal protein. It produces fewer toxic wastes and is easier to process. So what do I do with this information? Do I have to become a vegetarian overnight and give up everything I like? No, of course not. It's not about eliminating protein, which is essential for maintaining your muscles and strength. It's about balancing, about being smart with your choices. Consciously alternate between animal protein and plant protein throughout the week. If today you ate meat, tomorrow eat lentils or chickpeas. If today you ate chicken, tomorrow prepare some delicious black beans. Reduce processed meats to the absolute minimum. Those cold cuts, those hams, those sausages, save them for very special occasions, not for every day. When you eat animal protein, let the portion be reasonable, the size of the palm of your hand, not the whole plate. Fill the rest of the plate with colorful vegetables, whole grains, healthy fats. It's not about becoming vegetarian if you don't want to. It's not about giving up the culinary traditions of our culture that we love so much. It's about giving your kidneys a well-deserved break after so many decades of work without rest. It's about honoring your body with balance and wisdom. Your healthy kidneys will allow you to continue enjoying meals with your family, those gatherings full of laughter and love for many, many more years. Now, you know the 5 poisons that are silently threatening your kidneys every day of your life. The sedentarism that stagnates your circulation like a puddle of dirty water. The sugar and refined flours that launch a massive and coordinated attack from 4 different fronts. The anti-inflammatory pills that can strangle the blood flow your kidneys desperately need. The salt hidden in processed foods that shoots your blood pressure to dangerous levels, and the excess animal protein that overloads your kidney filters year after year. But the most powerful thing of all, what I want you to carry engraved in your heart, is that each of these 5 poisons is completely under your control. You don't depend on doctors. You don't depend on expensive medications. You don't depend on anyone but yourself. You decide if you get up from the chair every hour and walk a bit. You decide if you choose fresh water instead of that sugar-loaded soft drink. You decide and consult a professional before taking pills every day. You decide if you turn the package over and read the label looking for hidden sodium. You decide if you balance your protein and give your kidneys a break. Every small decision you make today, at this moment, is an act of love toward your body, toward your future, toward the people who love you and need you. It's not about changing everything overnight radically. No one's asking you for perfection. It's about taking one small conscious step today and another small step tomorrow and another the day after. Every small change you make is a victory you should celebrate. Every home-cooked meal you prepare, every walk you take, every glass of water you drink is one more brick in the wall of protection you're building around your kidneys. You have in your hands the real power to change your health story, to rewrite your future. Now I want to hear from you because your voice matters in this community. Leave me a comment down here and tell me with total honesty which of these 5 poisons has impacted you most deeply. Is there something you didn't know? Something that has opened your eyes and that you're thinking of changing starting today? Your personal experience, your doubts, your fears can inspire and help others who are going through the same thing. Maybe now you feel a bit overwhelmed with so much information. Perhaps you feel there's a lot that you have to change, but remember this that I'm going to tell you. Every small change you make today is a precious gift for your future self. For that you who will continue walking firmly, living independently, enjoying life with energy in 10, 20, and 30 years. Your kidneys have an incredible, almost miraculous capacity for recovery when you give them exactly what they need. Movement, clean water, real food, rest from toxins. Here on this channel, we dedicate ourselves wholeheartedly to giving you clear, honest, direct, and practical information so you can make better, informed decisions about your health and the health of the people you love. We're not selling you miracles and pills. We're not promising instant magical solutions. We give you solid knowledge backed by the most current medical science. We give you real tools that work if you use them. If you want to continue learning more about how to protect and strengthen your kidneys completely naturally, I recommend you watch this next video where I talk in detail about the best foods that clean and regenerate your kidneys from the inside. See you there, and always remember this. Take care of your kidneys with love. Take care of your life with wisdom. If this information can help someone you deeply love, your partner, your children, your parents, a close friend, share it with them right now. A simple click can save a life. Like this video so the algorithm shows it to more people who desperately need to discover these hidden poisons before it's too late for them. And subscribe to the channel by activating that notification bell to receive more practical kidney health tips every week that can literally change the course of your life and your family's life. Sharing this knowledge with the people you love is a true act of love,